Hello, this is Mark Summers from Summers Technical Services. We're going to do some videos today showing how to build a waveguide assembly. We're going to do some parametric things near the end, but to start with, we're going to build three separate parts: a waveguide part, a flange part, then a alignment pin, and then we'll do an assembly model, and then we'll do some parametric configurations using design tables to tie it all together. So let's get started with a new part. Use an inch part template, and we're going to start making a waveguide based on a design here that I'll hand out in class. And so the first thing we need to do is decide where we're going to start. We're going to start on the front plane. We're going to do two sketches because we're going to do a sweep to make this waveguide. So we're going to build a path to sweep along. We're going to build a sketch with a shape, and then we're going to sweep that shape along the path. So since the part is not in a plane, it ventures out of a 2D plane, we're going to have to do a 3D sketch, which is a little bit more complicated than doing a 2D sketch. So let's see how that works. So we're going to go to Sketch. We're going to pull down the Sketch, pull down, and do a 3D sketch. And you'll notice the axis shown here. I can toggle between different planes, and I can do that by hitting my Tab button. So I'm going to start drawing here, and you'll see that right now I'm in the top plane. If I hit my Tab button, I'm now in the right plane. Tab again, I'm in the front plane, and it just cycles through. So right now I'm in the top plane, so I'll leave it there. I'm in my line command, so I'm going to start drawing, and I'll click on the origin. Pay pretty close attention to make sure the dimensions are pretty close to the real dimensions. So I'll click here, go over here, make sure this is a horizontal line. Over here somewhere, come back this way, go back this way, and now I'm going to click out of the plane, so I need to tab. So if I hit my Tab button, there's the right plane. That's not correct. There's my front plane. So now I can click right here, right click, select to get out of my line command. And now I've got a 3D sketch started. So the next thing we'll do is add some fillets in here, and so I'll use this fillet sketch command, and even though it's not the right number, we'll just make it 0.5 for now, and I'll fillet these corners because I'm sketching the path of the sweep, and that's the path along the center line of the part. And so I'll add those fillets in there, and I'll delete this dimension because I want to make sure I get that correct. All right, now the next thing I do is I want to add some 3D constraints in here. And I want all these lines, since these lines are able to move X, Y, and Z, I want to control these into the one plane here. So I'm going to select this first line, and I'm going to make it along Z, so it only travels along the Z direction. And similarly, I want to grab this line and make it along the X direction. And moving on, this one is along Z, and this one is along X. And then this last one here is not along X or Y or Z. It's going along X and Y at the same time, so I have to control that in a different manner. So for these features that are in the plane, I'm going to just use my regular smart dimension. So here to here, looking at my drawing, this is 1.5. Here to here is 585, it looks like. Here to here, that's my 0.665. And now I'm going to start dimensioning this out of plane geometry. And I can't just go point to point because it won't give me what I want. For instance, if I do a dimension from this point to this point, that is no longer what I want because it's on this canted path. It's not in a plane, and that's not what my drawing's calling for. So I can't dimension to a point to a point. And so instead what I'm going to do is dimension from a point to a plane. And now that's going perpendicular, and now I can type in my number I need, which in this case is 794 if I'm reading my drawing correctly. This is in a plane here, and so I can dimension from here to here to get my rise over here. And I can dimension this angle because it's in a plane. And now what do I need? I think I've got all my dimensions in. Now I just need to put these fillets in here, the dimensions for these fillets. And so what I'm going to do is discuss how we calculate these values during class. But for now, I'll incorrectly, just so I can constrain my sketch, I'll make these all 0.5. No, that's not the correct number. And rather than putting that dimension in 3 times, 4 times, I'm going to make that fillet, and that fillet equal to one another. And I'll add one more dimension for this last fillet, which is going to be different than those other two. But I'll go ahead and temporarily make it 0.5. It looks like it's equal. So I'm going to delete that equal constraint. It accidentally got added earlier. And now I'll make that 0.5, even though that's the incorrect value. And so now I've got an underdefined sketch, so I'm not exactly sure what is out of whack here. If I get out of the sketch, it looks like it is fully constrained. Fully defined sketch. Okay, so that's the path sketch. Now I'm going to do the shape sketch, and I want to sketch that in the front plane because that's where that starting position is. So for here, I'll just do a 2D sketch. Select the front plane, do a 2D sketch, and I'll just draw 2 center point rectangles. If I can click correctly. Here's the outside, here's the inside. And I'll put some dimensions on here based on my WR34 waveguide. And the dimensions I'll hand out in class, but it's this handout here. And it looks like for the WR34, this dimension here is going to be C, which is 420. And this is going to be .250. And these are the last two. I'll place those. And now I'll go correct the values. So for my case, this will be different for yours because everyone's doing a different model. So for me, C is 42. D is 25. A is 340. And last but not least, B is 170. And that looks like something went candywampus on me. I just need to pull. Somehow I didn't get the small rectangle located at the origin. So now I'm fully defined. So I'll get out of that sketch. Now I have 2 separate sketches. Both of them are fully constrained, even though the radii are still the wrong dimensions. Now just select the path control click the shape, go to features, sweep boss base, and say OK. And now I've got my part. So for the next assignment, we will look into seeing how to do the flange model. We'll follow up that right now.